Okay, welcome to the third part. Congratulations for making it this far. So in this one, we're gonna learn about MIDI and virtual instruments for creating electronic sounds or using digital drums or just using MIDI in general for different purposes. Yeah, I have a bit of sunlight right here on me. The sun is going right through my window and it's a bit of annoying for me, but so I also apologize for the poor lighting. So first of all, let's just create an empty project. Or you can use the project you want if you have one already set up. And so in Cubase, at least, to find virtual instruments in here, you can do this in a few different ways. So one is to go, let's see, I haven't used the menu for this in a long time. I'm always using shortcuts. Here, VST instruments, or F11 on your keyboard if you're using Windows. So I'm just gonna click F11, and bam, we have a window here. And to add anything to this one, you could either click here, and then it also assigns a track for the virtual instrument that you choose. So here you should have a few options like Groove Agent or different synthesizers. And if you click one of these, like Add Track, you get a MIDI track here with the assigned virtual instrument. And then you can just click on this little button right here. So if you highlight the track, and here you have the entire synthesizer where you can, click a sound, and essentially you should be able to play it. Let's see, let's just load a preset. Like so. See? But there's another way of adding this as well. There's two more ways. We can also click Rack here and choose the synth that we want. And you'll see here that you get tracks here, but these are not playable. These are kind of the volume faders for the synthesizer. So then you have to right click here and add a MIDI track. You can name it synth or whatever you want. And then you have to click the output part of the MIDI track, and you can choose the synth that you want to use. So if you have many here in the list, you're gonna see all of those here, and you can just choose the one you want, and then you can click this little icon again or symbol, and here you have it. So not too complicated. And the third way of doing this yeah, okay. So the third way of doing this is right click here and add instrument track, and you can choose right away. So it's kind of like how we did it the first way, but directly here without having to open the F11 window. So that can be very handy if you just want to do this very quickly. Now for MIDI editing, or for usage of MIDI, let's just get something nice going here first. Just gonna click a synthesizer here, and I'll add a MIDI track. I'll call it synth. And let's just find a arpeggio or something. Yeah, let's just use action pads. This one. Okay, so let's say you don't have a MIDI keyboard, so you don't want to play this physically. You just want to add the notes using the program. Then you can click this pencil tool up here. You can draw out a MIDI block, like so. You can also, if you're in Cubase, hold the Alt key and you get this little pencil tool and you can draw like that instead of having to go up here. And then you double click this and here you get your piano roll, which is where you can program the synth. So same rule applies here, the pencil tool or the draw tool, or you can hold Alt and you can just drag like this. And we can, you know, essentially just do this. And bam, we have a little synth part. Not too complicated, right? And if you want to close out of this one, I just use F3 usually. I'm not sure if that's something I keybinded myself, but Enter should do the trick too. That should be the default key. So also if you highlight one of these and you don't want to double click for some reason, you can just hit Enter and it goes right into the piano roll. And this same rule applies for digital drums, kind of. But there's an interesting thing about digital drums in Cubase, which is why I love Cubase. They have something called the drum map. So I'll show you what that does. So let's open up Cubase own drum sampler plugin or virtual instrument. It's called Groove Agent. And we'll add a MIDI track, call it drums. We choose Groove Agent main. Open it up. Let's just add or load up a preset. I don't care what sounds I'm getting here. Okay, and then you see you have different samples loaded up here on these pads. So if you have like a real pad trigger launch pad thing, and it's like a physical little machine, you can play these pads with that one, and it's probably a lot of fun. But if you don't have one of those, don't worry. You can either play with your keyboard if you have one, but you can also make a MIDI block like this. And if you click it now, you'll see it still looks like the piano roll. But if we go here, where it says no drum map, and we click, you can make your own, but for basic users, you can just click the pre-programmed one called GM map. And now if we open this, see, we'll have names for the drums. Here are the notes which the drum samples are assigned to. So if you look here in the drum sampler, the snare says E1. So if I find E1 here, it's the same snare. And with this type of MIDI, you'll have more of a notation looking thing. So instead of those bars, you get these little squared looking things. And they are, I think this is great for drum programming. It's super simple to use. I mean, now that was the sickest beat I've ever heard in my life, but you catch my drift. I mean, this is very handy. Instead of having to guess and just see the piano roll, you can actually label the drums yourself. And like, let's say you have a sample called Big Boom, and you can just name it Big Boom. Make sure that it's on F#1 here, and those two will make the same noise or sound when triggered. I think that's fairly straightforward. Let me know if I was a bit too advanced on something, or if there was anything you didn't quite understand. I tried to be as simple and straightforward as possible, but sometimes it's hard for me to realize when I'm being a bit too advanced. I hope you learned something from this. I hope it was straightforward and that you enjoy these tutorials. As always, comment down below if there's anything I can do to improve, if there's anything that you wonder about, and if you have any requests or you just want to chat, let me know if this helped you. I'd love to hear from you. So take care. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you hanging out with me like this. And I'll see you in the next part. So have a great day. Okay. Bye-bye.